All right, this is me rereading Maurice's question because when I was reading it to Pastor Hovind, the recorder was not going on, believe it or not, and so I'm going to reread it so you'll understand the question that Pastor Hovind answered. The question is from Maurice. He writes, "Hello, Pastor Hovind. I listen to your phone calls with Rudy daily on YouTube. It amazes me how you're able to maintain your optimism after over 8 years of false imprisonment. You, sir, are a great inspiration to myself and many others. It is obvious that the Holy Spirit is alive within you. I also enjoy watching your many YouTube videos and listening to you preach the truth on a daily basis. The other day I watched CSE 103 Class 6 Topic Income Tax. Question: do you have any regrets of preaching and especially posting that particular video on YouTube? I respectfully want to tell you that I wished you would have only preached on creation versus evolution. The other beliefs you have, such as NWO and the Constitution, should have been left for others to say to slay that other dragon. What are your thoughts? God bless. Looking forward to you and Mr. Hanson's release. Maurice from New Jersey."
I did not teach anything that I thought was wrong. It's just a fact. Did the founding fathers of this country make a mistake by pointing out, hey, King George, you don't have the right to do this? They made a list of they put a Declaration of Independence with a list of all the things he did wrong. He put troops in our house there's no war going on, and yet he made us feed their troops in our own house. Well, what does that have to do with the gospel? Nothing. It has to do with freedom. So, yeah, that's a very good question, Maurice. I thank you. I don't have an answer. Whether it was wise or not, whether it was right, there's no question. And still to this day, I think what I said was right, as best I recollect it. There's no question that we have a government that gets involved in things. They're out of the box. This is not what they were designed to do by the founders. This wasn't to be a nanny state. They had two basic goals: protect us from evildoers on the inside, have a system to punish evildoers, and protect us from evildoers on the outside. And then leave us alone, give us freedom to do what we do, and if we make it, we make it. If we fail, we fail. America, you have the right to be stupid, you have the right to fail. But it's not the government's job to be the nanny state. So, was it wise? Would I do it again? Somebody asked me, I think it was yesterday, do you have any regrets? I don't really have too many regrets in my life. I've tried to serve God as I felt He wanted me to go. Should Isaiah regret his preaching? It ended up putting him in jail. How many of the prophets through the Bible said things that were really involving politics? John the Baptist told King Herod, you shouldn't have that woman. What business does it of John the Baptist to tell the king he shouldn't have that wife because it used to be his brother's wife? Was John the Baptist right or wrong? Jesus oftentimes answered a question with a question. They would ask him a question. He said, okay, let me ask you a question. And if you answer it, then I'll tell you. So I'll make you that same offer, Maurice. Read the entire story of John the Baptist in all four Gospels, synthesize it together, and answer the question, was John the Baptist right or wrong to do what he did with King Herod? We know the results. The woman had his head cut off, okay? We know the results. But was he right or wrong to meddle in the king's personal life and to say that? Let me know what you think. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the question.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Hovind. And just to let you know, and for others that may be listening later, the recording device, I noticed it wasn't going like for the first 3 seconds of your response, but I got like 98% of your response, and I don't think you said anything critical in the first 5 seconds, so I will edit in the reading of the question later, but I don't want anybody to think there was any funny business where I'm trying to edit out anything, because that was a critical question, and so that will be fixed when we do the post-editing. So thank you, Pastor Hovind, for the response. All right, we do the best that we can around here with the resources that we have. The next question comes in from Daniel, and Daniel writes, my name is Daniel, and Kent Hovind brought me closer to God. I have one very important question. I am applying for a job after finishing law school, and I really need inspiration from a Christian standpoint. Why are Islam and Christianity not the same? Why don't they have the same God? I did my research, of course, but I was hoping that Kent could help me out further. Maybe I forgot a few points. I need to have the perfect answer because I will get this question in my next job interview. I don't want to forget important points. Could you please get Ken Hovind to talk about this subject? I would truly appreciate it. God bless you, Ken Hovind, Daniel.
Well, thank you, Daniel. I know enough of that question and the topic to steer you to the right resources to get a lot more. It's like, I don't know how to cook food, but I know how to direct you to the restaurant, okay? There are some great sources. There's several books on chick.com. This is Jack Chick's website, CHICK. Go to chick.com and look for a comic book, a large 8.5 by 11 comic book called The Prophet. That one is a classic summary of the history of Islam. There are quite a few books on chick.com that deal with that topic. The other two books I would just say this is essential reading are books on WorldNet Daily, WND.com, Joseph Farrar. And the books are published in the last 3 or 4 years. I forget the names of them, but they are classic books on the topic of Islam and what they believe, and written by a former Muslim. So if you want to learn more, the religions are vastly different. I mean, irreconcilably different. Don't try to blend the two. There is no blending between real Christianity and Islam. Somebody's right, somebody's wrong. And those guys would be the experts on that. Okay? Hope that helps.
All right.
By the way, speaking of which, Rudy.
Yep.
Can you send a message to Randall? It's okay if everybody here says, I'm going to need a hard copy, not the Ludo copy, of my book, What on Earth is About to Happen. A hard copy.
Okay.
For evidence at trial. Because I submitted, that's my dissertation for my doctor's degree, and I submitted it at about the same time that all this stuff came up for this trial, the early 2013. And so for 3 years, 4 years before that, I was working on that dissertation, a lot of work on that. And so I just need to add that as evidence at a trial. So if you could get a hold of Randall or Mickey Hatfield, who actually put it together and had some printed, and get a hard copy to the chaplain and say, Kent has to have this as evidence for the trial. Can you get this to him? Because one of the arguments is, I wasn't keeping track of what the other Paul and those guys were doing. I was busy on my own stuff. And this is what I was working on. So see if you can get that accomplished. I need it in the next couple of weeks. Mickey was getting hard copies done. I don't know where. Some kind of company that publishes small, just prints and binds and hands you as many as you want. They've got places now do 1 or 2 books for you. It's expensive.
Yep.
You don't have to get 10,000 of them printed. So, if you can get, I tried to call Randall. He must have been busy, couldn't answer. But if anybody has a hard copy, actually, if Randall can get the most recent one, which has all the corrections and updates, that would be wonderful, because I'm constantly adding things,
Yep.
I'd like the most recent. I'd like it printed and bound and sent to me ASAP. Maybe it can come to, if he can call the prison first, or the jail, maybe it can come to my attorney, Thomas Keith, and he can bring it when he visits, since it's evidence.
Okay.
It's going to be evidence. He may say, well, I need to talk to Thomas Keith, but he may say, I need 3 copies. One for the court, one for, if you're going to enter it as evidence. Okay.
Okay. No, I will definitely.
One of it, maybe 3.
I will definitely get that message to Randall. Absolutely, and we'll make sure that happens to the best of our ability. All right. Pastor Hovind, the next question comes in from Bob with Revival Baptist Church in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Hello, Brother Hovind. I saw an article today on the Yellowstone National Park, and with my creationist worldview, I see articles with a totally different perspective from which they were normally written. The article claims scientists have found a gigantic lava chamber underneath the small lava chamber they already knew was under the Yellowstone supervolcano. They say it is 44 miles by 30 miles in width and 12 to 28 miles deep. It can fill the Grand Canyon 10 times. They say Yellowstone last erupted 640,000 years ago and spewed lava until 70,000 years ago. Although it is laughable how they can actually come up with these dates, but it made me think of asking you some questions. He has 3 questions. Question number 1, in your travels, have you learned any interesting facts on Yellowstone?
I've been to Yellowstone many times. My son went to college right there, near there, just south of there in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. My son Eric did. There's a very small grade Bible college, Jackson Hole Bible College, where son Eric went. Yes, I've studied Yellowstone pretty intently. Love it. Beautiful place. I mean, incredible. Off the charts beauty there. It is about to blow sky high. Pieces of it could probably land on the moon. I don't know. I'm just kidding, but that's going to be a real explosion when that goes. I think everybody agrees with that, that it's going to be the super volcano. I don't think you want to be living within 300 or 400 miles of that place when it happens. I know there was one in Indonesia erupted back in 1880, I think, or something like that, that it changed the sunsets for 2 years around the world.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
So, yeah, I think there are people in that area headed for trouble. Doesn't mean you panic and move away today, but it's coming. So, yeah, I love Yellowstone, but it's going to blow sky high at some point. I do totally disagree with the millions of hundreds of thousands of years ago, of course. I think it's all a result of the earth cracking up at Noah's flood. The fountains of the deep broke open. Okay?
All right.
Call back, brother. Let me get your thing.
Okay, very good. All right, that's Pastor Hovind, and send your Bible questions to ruddavis@yahoo.com.